Benny's Honey Harmony, a bear's tale of sharing sweetness. Introduction. In a lush and enchanting forest, where trees stretched high and sunlight filtered through the leaves, lived a lovable bear named Benny. Benny was known far and wide for his insatiable love for one thing: honey. His days were filled with adventure, exploring the woods and gathering golden drops of sweetness from beehives hidden among the trees. But Benny's love for honey wasn't just for his own pleasure. He had a brilliant idea that would not only satisfy his cravings but also bring smiles to the faces of his forest friends. With a heart as warm as the sun that dappled the forest floor, Benny concocted a plan to share his beloved honey with all the animals who called the forest their home. Little did he know that this idea would lead him on a journey of friendship, creativity, challenges, and heartwarming moments. From the very first drop of honey collected to the joyous celebrations that would follow, Benny's venture would weave a tapestry of sweetness that would forever bind the forest's inhabitants in a bond of camaraderie and shared delight. So, let's step into the enchanting world of Benny the Bear and follow along as he embarks on his honey-filled adventure, one chapter at a time.
Chapter 1: Bear's Honey Idea. In the heart of the sprawling forest, where rustling leaves sang gentle songs and the air was fragrant with nature's secrets, lived Benny, a bear with a heart full of warmth and a taste for all things sweet. Benny had a fondness for honey that was unmatched by any other creature in the woods. The mere thought of its golden, gooey goodness made his mouth water and his eyes sparkle with excitement. One sunny morning, as Benny strolled through the forest, the idea struck him like a beam of sunlight breaking through the trees. What if, he pondered, he could share the delicious joy of honey with his fellow forest inhabitants? His friends, the birds, squirrels, rabbits, and even the curious foxes, would surely love the sweet nectar as much as he did. With this idea firmly planted in his mind, Benny's paws practically danced with anticipation as he ventured deeper into the woods, eyes scanning every tree and flower for signs of the hidden beehives. He wasn't simply collecting honey this time, he was on a mission to share a taste of happiness. Climbing trees and peeking into nooks, Benny gathered the honeycombs with a careful touch. His heart raced with excitement as he imagined the smiles that would light up his friends' faces when they tasted the treat he was so passionately collecting. Bees buzzed around him, and while most animals might have shied away, Benny remained unafraid, fueled by the thrill of his newfound idea. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow over the forest, Benny returned to his cozy cave with jars brimming with honey. This was only the beginning, he could feel it in his very bones. With each jar he set aside, he envisioned the delight that would ripple through the forest as his friends discovered the delectable surprise he had in store for them. And so, with jars neatly lined up and a heart full of anticipation, Benny drifted off to sleep that night, dreams of honey-coated smiles filling his thoughts. Little did he know that his simple idea would set in motion a series of heartwarming events that would change the forest, and his life, forever.
Chapter 2: Gathering Honey. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and gold, Benny's excitement bubbled over. Today was the day he would set his plan in motion, to share the liquid gold he had collected with his forest friends. With a skip in his step and a heart full of anticipation, Benny ventured once again into the heart of the forest, where the secrets of the bees lay hidden. Among the tall trees and the gentle hum of nature, Benny's determination shone like a guiding star. Armed with a sturdy stick and a newfound confidence, he carefully approached the beehives that dotted the landscape. His heart raced as he recalled the stories his grandmother had told him about the art of gathering honey. He remembered her words of wisdom: "Be gentle and patient, for the bees are nature's friends." Gently, Benny tapped the hive, and as he did, he could almost hear the quiet hum of the bees within. With a mixture of respect and anticipation, he reached into the hive, carefully extracting the honeycombs. His hands moved with practiced ease, and his heart swelled with gratitude for the gift nature was bestowing upon him. As each honeycomb was lifted from its hive, it revealed its treasure, glistening droplets of honey that caught the sunlight and sparkled like liquid sunshine. Benny's heart danced with joy as he marveled at the beauty of his collection. He could almost taste the sweetness already, and the thought of his friends savoring the same delight filled him with a warmth that matched the golden hue of the honey. After hours of careful work, Benny's arms were laden with jars filled with honey. The forest seemed to applaud his efforts, as birds chirped in harmony and leaves rustled in appreciation. As he made his way back to his cozy cave, Benny knew that he had not only gathered honey but had also gathered the ingredients for something far greater: the bonds of friendship and the magic of sharing. With jars of honey neatly lined up, Benny felt a sense of accomplishment that he had never experienced before. The forest, once merely his home, had now become a canvas for his dreams of spreading happiness. And as the sun dipped below the horizon once again, Benny drifted into a peaceful slumber, eager to see the smiles his honey would bring to his friends' faces in the coming days.
Chapter 3: The Honey Jars. Morning sunlight filtered through the trees, casting a warm and inviting glow over Benny's cave. The forest seemed to hold its breath in anticipation, aware that something special was about to unfold. Benny, with a heart full of excitement, carefully arranged the honey jars he had collected the day before. Each jar was a miniature masterpiece, adorned with labels that Benny had meticulously crafted. On these labels, vibrant illustrations of bees buzzed around delicate flowers, capturing the essence of the sweet treasure within. Benny had put his heart into every detail, making sure that his friends would feel the love and care he had poured into this endeavor. As the forest woke up and its inhabitants began their day, Benny placed his jars on a makeshift wooden stand he had constructed outside his cave. It was a modest setup, but it radiated the warmth of his intentions. He took a step back, surveying his handiwork with a mix of pride and nervous excitement. Today was the day he would unveil his sweet creations to the world. With the jars in place and his heart pounding, Benny awaited the arrival of his first customer. He didn't have to wait long. Squirrel, known for his quick movements and curious nature, bounded over to the stand. "Hey, Benny. What's all this?" he asked, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. Benny's grin widened, and he gestured toward the jars of honey. "It's my honey stand, Squirrel. I've gathered some delicious honey from the beehives, and I thought our friends might want to enjoy it too." Squirrel's eyes widened in delight as he inspected the jars. "Wow, Benny. This looks amazing. Can I try some?" "Of course," Benny replied, his voice filled with eagerness. He carefully unscrewed a jar and dipped a small wooden stick into the honey, offering it to Squirrel. Squirrel's eyes closed as he savored the taste, a smile of pure bliss spreading across his face. "This is incredible, Benny." "I'll take a jar," Squirrel exclaimed, already reaching into his pouch for some shiny acorns. As the day progressed, more and more forest friends came to visit Benny's honey stand. Rabbit, deer, and even the shy chipmunk couldn't resist the allure of the sweet treat. Benny's heart swelled with happiness as he watched his friends enjoy the honey he had lovingly collected and prepared. As the sun began its descent, casting a warm, golden hue over the forest, Benny looked at the empty jars and felt a sense of fulfillment that he had never experienced before. The forest was buzzing with stories of his delicious honey, and Benny knew that he had started something truly special. With a contented sigh and a heart full of gratitude, Benny cleaned up his stand, carefully storing the remaining jars for another day of sweetness. As he retreated into his cozy cave, he couldn't help but feel that his honey jars were not just vessels of sweetness but also vessels of joy, connecting him and his friends in a way that only the magic of sharing could accomplish.
Chapter 4: Squirrel's Visit. The morning sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, heralding a new day in the forest. Benny's honey stand stood proudly outside his cave, its jars of golden sweetness glinting in the early light. The forest seemed to hum with excitement, aware that something wonderful was happening once again. Squirrel, with his bushy tail twitching with curiosity, was one of the first to arrive at the stand. He scampered up to Benny with a grin, his eyes gleaming with anticipation. "Hey, Benny! What's cooking today?" Benny chuckled warmly. "No cooking today, my friend, but I do have something special for you." He gestured to the array of honey jars, each labeled with care. Squirrel's eyes widened as he inspected the jars. "Honey? You've got honey for us?" Benny nodded with a smile. "That's right, Squirrel. I gathered honey from the beehives, and I thought you might want to try some." Squirrel's excitement was palpable. "Try some? I can't wait." He hopped from paw to paw, his eagerness infectious. Benny unscrewed a jar, revealing the shimmering, amber liquid inside. He dipped a wooden stick into the honey and offered it to Squirrel. "Go ahead, my friend. Give it a taste." Squirrel's eyes closed in sheer delight as he savored the sweetness. A soft sigh of happiness escaped him, and he opened his eyes with a grin. "Benny, this is amazing. It's like a burst of sunshine in my mouth." Benny chuckled. "I'm glad you like it, Squirrel. Would you like to take a jar home?" Squirrel's response was swift and enthusiastic. "Absolutely. I'll take one for me and one for my family. They'll love this." As Squirrel paid for the jars with a handful of shiny acorns, Benny couldn't help but feel a deep sense of satisfaction. Seeing his friend's joy over the honey he had gathered brought a warmth to his heart that was even sweeter than the honey itself. As Squirrel scampered away with his jars of honey, Benny watched him go with a contented smile. The forest was alive with the sounds of nature, and Benny knew that his honey stand was more than just a place to buy honey. It was becoming a gathering spot for friends to connect, to share in each other's happiness, and to create memories that would last a lifetime. And so, as the day unfolded, Benny's heart swelled with gratitude for the simple yet magical power of sharing something as sweet as honey with those he cared for most.
Chapter 5, Rabbit's Surprise. The forest was alive with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant melodies of birdsong as another day dawned. Benny's honey stand stood proudly outside his cave, its jars of honey glistening in the soft morning light. It had become a beacon of sweetness that drew forest creatures like a magnet, and today was no exception. Rabbit, with his soft fur and eager eyes, hopped over to Benny's stand with a curious tilt of his head. "Hey there, Benny. What's going on?" Benny's eyes twinkled with excitement. "Good morning, Rabbit. I have something special to share with you today." He motioned toward the honey jars that adorned the stand. Rabbit's nose twitched with interest. "Special? What could it be?" Benny's smile widened as he replied, "Honey, my friend. I gathered some honey from the beehives, and I thought you might want to try it." Rabbit's eyes lit up with surprise and delight. "Honey? Oh, I love honey." He hopped a little closer, unable to hide his excitement. Benny unscrewed a jar, revealing the liquid gold within. With a wooden stick, he scooped up a dollop of honey and offered it to Rabbit. "Go ahead, Rabbit. Taste it and tell me what you think." Rabbit's whiskers twitched as he savored the honey. His eyes closed in sheer bliss, and a small sigh of happiness escaped him. Benny, this is incredible. It's like a sweet hug for my taste buds." Benny chuckled warmly. "I'm so glad you like it, Rabbit. Would you like to take some honey home with you?" Rabbit's response was immediate. "Oh, absolutely. I'll take 2 jars, please. One for me and one to surprise my family." As Benny carefully prepared the jars for Rabbit, he couldn't help but feel a sense of joy that was as sweet as the honey itself. Seeing his friend's happiness and knowing that he was spreading moments of joy throughout the forest filled him with a deep satisfaction. Rabbit hopped away with his jars of honey, a spring in his step and a heart full of anticipation. As Benny watched his friend go, he felt a profound gratitude for the connections he was fostering through his honey stand. It wasn't just about the honey, it was about the shared moments, the laughter, and the simple yet profound act of making each other smile. And so, as the day continued to unfold and more friends visited the stand, Benny's heart remained light with the knowledge that he was weaving a tapestry of sweetness that connected them all. Each jar of honey was more than just a treat, it was a symbol of friendship, of care, and of the magical power that came from sharing a simple joy with those who mattered most.
Chapter 6, Busy Beaver. The sun's gentle rays filtered through the leaves, casting a warm and inviting glow over Benny's honey stand. The forest buzzed with life as creatures of all sizes went about their daily activities. Benny's stand, adorned with jars of honey and a sense of enchantment, had become a familiar and cherished sight in the woods. As the day progressed, a figure emerged from the shadows, moving with purpose and determination. It was Beaver, known for his industrious nature and clever problem-solving skills. He approached Benny's stand, his eyes fixed on the array of honey jars. "Hey there, Benny," Beaver greeted with a nod. "What's all this sweetness about?" Benny's eyes twinkled with a warm greeting. "Hello, Beaver. I'm sharing some honey I collected from the beehives. Care for a taste?" Beaver's curiosity piqued, and he studied the honey jars with keen interest. "Honey, huh? Well, I've got something I think you might like too." Benny's curiosity was piqued in turn. "Oh, really? What do you have, Beaver?" With a twinkle in his eye, Beaver revealed a pile of freshly cut logs he had brought with him. "I've been working on these logs, and I thought we could make a trade. Some of my logs for some of your honey." Benny's heart warmed with appreciation for Beaver's offer. "That sounds like a great idea, Beaver. Let's make the trade." As the logs were carefully arranged next to the honey jars, Benny couldn't help but admire Beaver's resourcefulness. The forest was alive with sounds, the distant chirping of birds, the gentle rustling of leaves, and the soft murmur of flowing water. It was a symphony that served as the backdrop for their exchange. With the trade complete, Beaver walked away with a jar of honey, a smile of satisfaction on his face. Benny watched him go, his heart swelling with gratitude for the bonds he was building and the creativity that was flourishing in the forest. As the day continued, more friends visited the stand, each bringing something unique to share. Benny's honey stand was becoming more than just a place to buy honey. It was evolving into a hub of connection, where the forest's inhabitants came together to exchange not just goods, but also stories, laughter, and moments of warmth. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the forest quieted for the night, Benny looked at his honey stand with a sense of wonder. The connections he was forging were as sweet as the honey itself, and the friendships he was nurturing were growing stronger with each passing day.
Chapter 7: Trouble with Wasps. The sun rose over the forest, painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. Benny's honey stand, with its jars of sweetness, stood as a symbol of camaraderie and shared joy. However, on this particular morning, a cloud of uncertainty hung in the air. Benny arrived at his stand with a sense of determination, ready to greet the day and share his honey with his friends. Yet, as he set out the jars and tidied up the stand, a low buzz filled the air. A group of wasps had taken a keen interest in the honey, and they swarmed around the stand, their presence threatening to overshadow the warm atmosphere. Benny's heart sank as he watched the wasps' persistence. He knew that their intentions were not friendly, they wanted the honey for themselves. He sighed, his mind racing for a solution that would allow him to protect the honey and maintain the inviting space he had created. Fox, with her clever mind and quick wit, approached the stand, observing the situation. "Benny, it looks like you've got some uninvited guests," she said with a knowing smile. Benny nodded, his brows furrowed. "Yes, Fox. These wasps are causing quite a commotion. I want to share the honey with my friends, but I don't want them to be scared away." Fox's eyes glinted with determination. "Let's figure out a way to deal with this, Benny. We can't let these wasps ruin the sweetness you've created." Together, Benny and Fox brainstormed ideas. They considered nets to keep the wasps out, creating a barrier that would protect the honey without scaring away the other animals. With teamwork and determination, they set to work constructing a net that would serve as a protective shield. As the net was carefully woven and placed around the stand, the forest seemed to hold its breath, awaiting the outcome. The wasps, though persistent, found their efforts thwarted by the barrier, and their numbers began to dwindle. Slowly but surely, the forest's inhabitants regained their confidence and returned to the stand, reassured that the wasps were no longer a threat. With the net in place, Benny and Fox stepped back to admire their handiwork. The honey stand now had an extra layer of protection, ensuring that Benny's friends could enjoy the sweetness without fear. As they watched the animals gather around once again, Benny's heart swelled with gratitude for the friendship and support that surrounded him. And so, as the day continued and the sun journeyed across the sky, Benny's honey stand remained a place of warmth and connection. The challenge of the wasps had been met with creativity and teamwork, serving as a reminder that even in the face of adversity, friendship could triumph and sweetness could be shared without fear.
Chapter 8 A Grateful Deer. The forest basked in the golden glow of a new day, a gentle breeze carrying the promise of adventure and connection. Benny's honey stand stood proudly outside his cave, adorned with its array of jars filled with sweetness. The net that he and Fox had meticulously crafted provided an extra layer of protection, ensuring that the honey would be enjoyed by friends and not overshadowed by uninvited guests. As the forest's inhabitants went about their activities, a gentle presence approached the stand. It was Deer, known for her graceful demeanor and kind heart. She approached with a serene smile, her eyes fixed on the honey jars. "Good morning, Benny," Deer greeted, her voice as soft as a whispering breeze. "Your stand seems to be a hub of happiness." Benny returned her smile warmly. "Good morning, Deer. It's a pleasure to see you. Would you like to try some honey?" Deer's eyes lit up with curiosity. "Honey? That sounds lovely." She approached the stand with a graceful step, her presence exuding a sense of tranquility. Benny carefully selected a jar of honey and offered it to Deer. "Please, enjoy," he said with a genuine smile. Deer accepted the jar with gratitude, her gaze lingering on the amber liquid within. With a delicate touch, she dipped a small leaf into the honey and savored its sweetness. A soft smile graced her lips as she closed her eyes, lost in the moment. "Benny, this honey is not just a treat for the taste buds, it's a gift for the soul," Deer mused, her voice carrying a sense of reverence. Benny's heart warmed at her words. "I'm so glad you think so, Deer. It means a lot to me that I can bring joy to our forest friends." Deer's gaze met Benny's, and her eyes held a depth of gratitude that words could hardly express. "Benny, you have brought a touch of sweetness to our lives, and for that, I am truly grateful. The forest feels brighter, and our connections have grown stronger." Benny's chest swelled with a mixture of pride and humility. He had set out with a simple idea, to share his love for honey, and in doing so, he had woven threads of friendship that now connected him to the very heart of the forest. As Deer continued to enjoy her honey, Benny couldn't help but reflect on the journey he had embarked upon. The challenges, the laughter, and the shared moments had all contributed to a sense of unity that was now palpable in the air. Benny knew that his honey stand was more than just a place to buy sweetness. It was a testament to the power of sharing and the incredible bonds that could be forged when hearts opened to one another. And so, as the day unfolded and the forest's inhabitants continued to visit the stand, Benny's heart remained full. He had discovered that the true magic of the honey lay not only in its taste but in the connections it fostered, connections that had transformed his forest into a tapestry of friendship and warmth.
Chapter 9: Celebrating Together. The forest was alive with anticipation, its rustling leaves and joyful melodies signaling the arrival of a special day. Benny's honey stand, standing as a testament to friendship and shared sweetness, was adorned with a sense of celebration. The jars of honey glinted in the sunlight, ready to be enjoyed by the forest's inhabitants. As the day progressed, Benny's friends began to gather around the stand, each one bringing a sense of excitement and camaraderie. Squirrel, rabbit, deer, beaver, fox, and many others came together, their laughter and conversations filling the air with a sense of unity. Benny, with a heart full of happiness, welcomed each friend with open arms. "Welcome, my friends. Today is a day of celebration, and I'm so glad you could all join us." Rabbit grinned, his whiskers twitching. "Celebration? What's the occasion, Benny?" Benny's eyes sparkled as he explained, "It's a celebration of our friendship, of the moments we've shared around this honey stand, and of the connections we've forged through sweetness." The forest's inhabitants exchanged knowing glances, their appreciation for the shared journey evident in their smiles. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue over the scene, the animals gathered around the stand, their hearts brimming with gratitude. Benny raised his voice, his words carrying a sense of joy that resonated with each creature present. "Today, let us celebrate the bonds that have grown stronger, the laughter that has echoed through the trees, and the simple act of sharing that has brought us together." Fox, with her keen wit, chimed in, "And let us not forget the honey that has been the sweet thread weaving our stories together." Laughter erupted, a harmonious chorus that echoed through the forest. Benny stepped forward, and with a flourish, he revealed a table adorned with honey-inspired treats, honey cakes, honey tarts, and even honey-infused beverages. The forest's inhabitants marveled at the spread, their hearts filled with awe and appreciation. As the night wore on, the animals feasted, shared stories, and danced under the starry sky. Benny's honey stand had transformed into a center of merriment, a symbol of the joy that could be found in simple moments of togetherness. Deer, her eyes reflecting the soft glow of the moon, approached Benny with a smile. "Benny, your honey stand has not only brought sweetness to our tongues but has also brought us closer together as a community." Benny's heart swelled with humility and happiness. "I'm grateful for each one of you, for the moments we've shared, and for the connections we've formed." As the night waned and the celebrations drew to a close, the forest's inhabitants bid each other good night, their hearts full of contentment and camaraderie. Benny watched his friends depart, a sense of fulfillment settling over him like a warm embrace. And so, under the watchful gaze of the stars, Benny knew that his honey stand had not only shared sweetness but had also ignited a sense of unity that would forever bind the forest's inhabitants in a tapestry of friendship and shared joy. As he settled into his cave, Benny's heart was as full as the moonlit sky, grateful for the journey that had transformed a simple idea into a celebration of life's most precious gift, the gift of connection.